Hello, my name is Tom Beach. I am 43 years old and I am from Northampton in the UK. I could not just sit there at home in England and do nothing about it. So I really wanted to help and really wanted to get out to closest to the Ukraine as possible. And this is the perfect place to do it. And it was one moment, I think, that really made me decide, because when I was in England, and a lot of us feel very helpless, so we were donating money and donating supplies to send over as much as we possibly could. But a lot of us really want to be there and be actually in Poland and Ukraine as much as we possibly can. And I said there was one moment that really got me, and I was sat at home in England with my dog, with a cup of tea, watching TV in front of a fire, nice and relaxed. And I saw a picture on Reddit of a family that the mother and the daughter and the son and their dog had just been hit by a shell, a Russian shell, and they had all died. And it was the photo of, unfortunately, their bodies. And it was the moment when I was sat there with my own dog, and it was crazy. It was almost a dog that made me think, I need to do something, because they're just helpless to do that. So within 1 week, I was flying here, and flying into Warsaw and then travelling to here, and yeah, happy to help. My normal life, again, I work for a bank. I set up internet pages for companies, big corporate companies. So when they want to pay something online with credit cards, I set up the payment pages. I'm what's called a solution consultant. But it's a great job, I love it, but I wanted to help more people. Totally different work here to my job. My job, I sit at home, laptop, and we call them keyboard warrior, the job back home. And I love it, but you don't get to use the muscles and the legs. And here is long hours, it's 8-9 hours, but it's really good. Moving the logistics and all the supplies coming in, seeing the supplies that come in, whether it be medical supplies, food, water, from the English people who are working here. Very impressive at how well coordinated it is. Every day it's like ants. Everyone's moving around helping, but by the end of the day everything's beautifully tidy and everything's gone out into the trucks, and it's a very rewarding experience. It's great to see just how much work is being done in one small place like this for Ukraine. So yeah, we're very impressed. Working with them is amazing. We've been very amazed by how happy they are. I would have thought everybody, deep inside, I'm sure they're very sad and very upset. But on the outside, with the smiles, to be here working, making a difference, it's been wonderful working with them. I think for me, seeing a lot of Ukrainians working beside us, and their children living in this, coming over to stay with their relatives in the containers you've got here was a real shock to me. When a door opened and there's children playing in a container with toys, and it was really quite an emotional moment. I thought that was beautiful because we didn't expect to see things like that. We just thought it was a distribution place, working packages and moving, and adults. So to see the children here and happy as well, it's really amazing to see. But what I think is quite unusual here is it's almost like people, not like a normal work where people work from 9 till 5 or 6 and want to go home. A lot of the Ukrainians here, such lovely people, they don't want to go home because they go home and think about what's happening. Whereas here, they're speaking to everybody, sharing their problems, sharing their concerns, sharing their love with everybody. I think our reaction was like everybody, just amazed at ridiculous the situation was and how this could happen in today's day and age. I think people in England are very well educated on the history of Europe and the wider Europe and outside of it, and the history of Russia and Ukraine particularly. We all are fully aware of that already, and the ongoing problems there have been in various different bordering countries with Russia. It was strange that day because in England, obviously we've had all with COVID, the world has had, and then suddenly the day when COVID finished in England, all of our restrictions finished, and we just thought, brilliant, we can finally move on with our lives it was literally the next day Putin invaded, and it was just, why? You know, can you not just give the world a minute's peace? I think in England we're very helpless, in UK we feel very helpless because we want the government to do more. We want to get involved, but we also know why you can't get involved with the restrictions. We want to do more, but there's been such a big outpouring of support for Ukraine in the UK because they know they can't actively get involved. They are doing as much as they can with money raising, lots of people coming out here to Ukraine, to Poland, to support as well. So the one thing that a lot of British people worry about as well is being led by the news. So obviously you have all different news channels, but we want to keep it at the highest point of the news because that's always a danger, that it's always at the top of the news every time you go on any news channel, but something happens and it comes down and down and down and drops. And we all know that we want to keep it as high up as possible. And that's very apparent in the UK, that they want to keep it high. They want people to still know about it. We're hoping it will all change. We're hoping it will disappear from the news because everything will be great and it will be perfect and things will change and go back to normal. But we also understand it's not a short-term fix. This is long-term because you've had however many million people leave Ukraine. These millions of people need to go back. So we need to support that too. Well, in comparison to what it was before, we find when you go to any country, city in Ukraine we've been to, Lviv, etc., I spent a lot of time there, it was very much like London. It was a beautiful city, everything was amazing, all modern, it was wonderful. So obviously that city hasn't been, thank goodness, hit that much, but on the east side, when you see a city, we look at that like that's London being destroyed. And it's quite scary how you see how that has all been impacted. So we do feel it's a beautiful country full of beautiful people who are so happy, and just to see what is happening and those people that are not happy and been forced from their homes. So yeah, we need to bring the happiness back to Ukraine, but it's not there at the moment, and we want to make sure everybody comes back again, and even help rebuild the infrastructure, etc., to get it as it was. Because you see some of the videos that really hit home quite strong, because a lot of people in the UK don't know Ukraine, have never been, but you can see sometimes they do on news channels the videos of a city, what it was like before, and right next to it was the comparison of after shelling, and it's mind-blowing to see beautiful fountains and amazing areas to rubble. It's quite scary, that is, to see that. So we understand the beauty of it, and I think that's the key thing. They need to show what it was like before for the people that don't know Ukraine, because people just get used to seeing a shelled city and just black and grey and smoke. But you need to see what it was before, and a lot of our news channels in the UK, it's quite important to them to do that, and it makes people realise that, wow, that could have been me in that city, living in our beautiful city, and now we live in rubble. I am Tom Beach. I am 43 years old. I'm from Northampton, England, UK, and I am a solution consultant